Yeah, yeah, your boy Chris Lee.
Shout out to Soul Lee.
You on that Get Back podcast.
It's our time.
You
now.
with that Get Back podcast.
Yeah.
You on that Get Back podcast, the Get Back. You with that Get Back podcast, the Get Back. You on that Get Back podcast, the Get Back. You with that Get Back podcast, the Get Back. Now sit back and relax. Now sit back. Now sit back and relax. Now sit back. All right, folks, this is another episode of the Get Back podcast. It's your boy Chris Lee and your boy
Soul Lee.
All right, so this episode here is one that everybody has pretty much been talking about already. So everybody, can you hear me pretty good over there, Mr. Soley?
Just fine, brother.
Awesome. All right, so we're talking about Jada Pickett. So Jada Pickett Smith. Listen, people, everybody is probably picking up this topic and running with it. Everybody's coming up with their narratives. I done seen a couple of comedians come out with it's just a hot take. Is everybody sipping the tea? And you know, whatever's going on, it's about Will and Jada. But a sidebar, remember last time everything was going on Will and Jada, some other stuff was going on in Hollywood. So I want to say this here. Whatever's going on out here, stop using Jada and Will as a muse. But anyway, Jada's coming out with a book here. So Jada Pickett Smith has a book out. Now, her book is she's going on tour right now, you know, pretty much promoting her book. And she had recent interviews where she actually stated her and Will are no longer together, and said they've been separated for at least about 7 years. Now, Mr. Soley, did you know that?
Man, that was new news for me. I didn't know at all, bro.
Right. So it's news for everyone. And her book Worthy, which is she's campaigning right now. She's more than likely is discussing this. And they've been living in separate homes, but still keeping their lives as a unit for the camera and for the public. Now, Jada went on recently to mention other things as far as the slap with Will Smith. She, and I quote, said she thought it was a skit. Now, listen here, people. Now, listen. For you to be that close to home to this said incident, and he made a joke about your head or hair, called you G.I. Jane. G.I. Jane, if you've never seen G.I. Jane, people also had a clean shave. So we clearly got the reference. It was a terrible joke. Probably one of the worst jokes Chris Rock could have told. But it's a joke to say the least. And Will Smith went up to defend her honor, went up there to correct Mr. Chris Rock in his own way. And with that being said, almost a year to 2 years later, because time passed by so quickly here, she just now stating that she thought it was a skit. She didn't think it was real. Now, my thing is this, man. I feel like when celebrities are campaigning albums, books, especially anything that's personal to them, that's when they start airing out or giving you layers of their personal business, of their personal lives, and say, hey, did you know this? If you didn't, come read this book. And it's a good marketing campaign, right? It's good marketing. But at the same token, don't piss on my back and tell me it's raining. Like, you knew it wasn't a skit. You're trying to save face and save credibility because you're selling a book here. So you need to kind of be in the good graces of the community and the people out here by saying, look, I had no idea that was real. I ain't want no parts of that. I want to be separated from that because I'm trying to sell this book. So, of course, throw Will under the bus, as you may. And then you also try to detach yourself from the whole entanglement scandal by saying, hey, we've been separated for 7 years. Now, my thing is this. If you've been separated for 7 years, why not mention it during your red table talk with Will Smith when you was talking about the entanglement? I mean, you were so openly about having a said, quote, affair, right? Why not be that much honest about your separation? I mean, that would have been the perfect time to save face. If Olivia Pope was real from the show Scandal, which is Olivia Pope was played by Kerry Washington, which is one of my favorite shows there. If Olivia Pope was a real character, she probably would have told Jada Pickett Smith, hey, go ahead and just sacrifice your marriage and say, hey, we are separated for 7 years. And when I was entangled with said quote, August, I was separated from my husband and the world wouldn't have bet an eye. But the reason why the world wouldn't have bet an eye because, oh, you're separated. All right, well, then there's not really a big deal about this. So it goes to make me believe solely that they wanted it to be a big deal. Because if you would have said I was separated from my partner, then people probably would have still had difference of opinions. But in the same token, they would not have sacrificed Jada like they did. They would not have ruined Will Smith's credibility. You legitimately ruined his credibility as a man in the public eye. And you could have just simply avoided that by just saying we are separated. Will's living his life, I'm living my life. And Will could have backed it up by saying, hey, I support her in her life and what she's doing. And that would have been it. It would have been maybe a 10-minute story, would have lasted maybe a few days, and that would have been it. Will would have still kept his credibility. He would have still kept his image. She would have still kept her image. August would have still kept his. Nobody would have been drugged into the fire. But now is convenient because you're now releasing a book. What's your take on that, Soline? What do you believe is her angle? And how do you just feel about all this going on with Jada everywhere and she just talking and talking? Like, what is your take on this?
Well, my take is, man, it's unnecessary. I don't think this is necessary because of, well, I mean, everybody has a right to write a book, and but this has been going on for so long. I'm talking about this Will and Jada stuff, that the only reason why people are showing it any kind of attention is because the state of the world today, where attention seekers, some people might say attention whores or something like that. But like, we, in actuality, I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing. This is me personally. I'm tired of hearing about Will and Jada. Like, I mean, it's everybody has a marriage. Everybody has their lives. Like, what makes it so different from everybody else? Now, I know she threw on this extra stuff of, with Tupac and all this stuff. We all had some kind of inkling of, she might be still in love with Will. I mean, with Pac. And for a while. But if you are married, I don't even care if, like, the marriage ain't or was never how you wanted it to be, or if you wanted to get married. You've been married for a long time. So it's like, yo, why do you keep, even if this might be true, hell, even if you was married and you was kind of in love with somebody else, I mean, okay, but why are you still trying to get attention from this? And if it's for the book, then I hate to say okay, but let it be done and over with. After this book come out, then let it be. Is it because Pac is getting attention now? Is this because he's getting more attention now because this Keefe D and this murder? Is she like riding off the back of that? I don't know how her pockets are looking. I'm quite sure. It ain't in my business, but I know she got money. But if she's trying to get more money, I'm saying if she's trying to get more money, then it seems like she's just piggybacking off of Pac's death. And she can say she love him and all this stuff, but it seems like she's been piggybacking off of Pac's death for a long time. And as far as the marriage, man, I think they just need to keep some things you just keep in house. You did not need to you don't need to say everything to everybody. And that's what people mess up at. They keep on running their mouth, they run their mouth to the public, and then you cannot get mad when the public actually starts talking about your marriage. Because I mean, you can't get mad because you didn't told everybody about it. So you gave them the key to your house in all actuality. But I don't think and I really don't think it was Will at the beginning that started all this. I think it was Jada that gave people the key, because of that roundtable stuff. They gave she gave them the key to know what was going on in the house. They should have just, if they was gonna quit it, okay, quit it. Like you said, man, it was a good ride. Now the ride is over. Let's go our separate ways. If they were together, but not together for years, okay, if you're gonna make this a split, then split. But don't be like, oh, you don't tell everybody, and then you go off and keep on saying stuff, making this man look like he a punk, you know, or like he don't know what he doing, or didn't know what he was doing, or he was less than a man. I think that is so wrong of her because I think she's been doing this for a while. I might be wrong, but I think she's been doing this for a while, man. And some people just like to be married because of um I don't know, man. I think people just like to be married
Image.
just because of, yeah, the image. And some people just like to be like, okay, well, I got somebody
I'm not
to
alone.
come home to. I know somebody that's there. And it might not even be, that safe. You might not be that secure in that relationship, but you saying, okay, well, I got somebody at home. I got a wife, or I got a husband, or stuff like that. But I really don't think, man. And I don't know, man. I think it's been messed up for a while. People know it's been messed up for a while, and for her to be saying all this stuff now, seems like she's just piggybacking off of Pac, and she's just trying to get more people to buy her book. And I think they should have just split it a long time ago. And if they didn't, and they trying to split now, just split and let it be a clean split, as clean as it can be. Just split. You go your way, I go my way. The kids already know we love them, so let it be. Those are my thoughts.
Oh yeah, man. I 100% agree with you. While you were saying that, I actually ran across an interview. I had it here. I was meaning to pull it up, but it's a separate interview. It's with Tommy Davidson. So apparently, Tommy Davis. We all remember Tommy Davidson, the famous comedian. We know him better from In Living Color, and also the voiceover as Oscar Proud from the Proud Family. He has been a phenomenal comedian and presence in the entertainment business. But he made a film with Jada Pickens way back when called Woo. Remember the movie Woo?
Yep.
Yep. So this isn't Will Smith's first interaction with trying to quote unquote defend Jada's honor. Now, I want to play this interview real quickly about his interaction with Will Smith, and it kind of want to show y'all the overall picture of this. Now, Will himself has been madly in love with Jada, right? I mean, we all know
Hmm.
this. We heard plenty of stories about it. He been madly in love with her. I mean, it's that's what he wanted. That's who he had his eyes on. That's who he had a crush on. That was his dream girl. That was his everything. So, with that being said, that was his way to um, pretty much get who he want. So I'll play this video real quickly, and I want y'all to listen to this. Now, this video is between Shannon Sharp from the Shay Shay Room and and Tommy Davidson. Okay, so give me one quick second here. My son just walked in the room. So I'm gonna see if I can play it here. I don't want to play anything without rights because I don't have the rights to this. So let me see if I can play it. But anyway, so as I'm about to gear it up, so yeah, so he had a run in with him, and Will Smith, honestly, man, has been intimidated by Pac for the longest, right? This is not the first occurrence that Will has been intimidated by a fellow actor or any other comedian that kind of had shared the screen with Will Smith. This isn't the first occurrence, okay? So let's go ahead and play this real quickly. And of course, it has commercials and stuff, so I'm not going to bore y'all with that.
Will had a run in.
Yeah. Todd, you try. Yeah. With his wife with a lip lock.
Yeah. I didn't find out that for 15 years because he never told me that. See, he came into the trailer and I was sitting down, right? He's standing over me like this, and he's like, "I don't appreciate that, man. I don't appreciate that." I'm like, "Well, what you talking about?" I always know to play it off,
right?
You know what I mean?
It's home.
Well, I'm sitting down.
Oh, this was 15 years later? Or was it?
No, this was then. And then I didn't find out why.
Right, okay.
I was asking him why then, but he wouldn't say nothing.
Right.
And I'm going, "What's going on, man? Tell me what's happening, man." And since he was standing, and I was sitting, I was a real nice fella. And that's about physics.
Right.
So I'm like, "Oh, man, what's going on, man? I mean, hey, man." He's like, "I don't appreciate that." You know what I'm saying? And Jada's going, Will, I'm saying, but I mean, what's happening, man? Now you tell me what's happening. You don't want to do this.
You about to bottom lip. You about to do something bad.
You might do something, right? So I'm like, I did the whole, you remember the snake?
Yeah.
I did the snake. Well, what, and got up.
Right.
And then I was like, so what are you talking about, man? And I was still in that posture.
So you didn't really know what he was actually talking about?
I didn't, but I know what he was doing.
Right.
So I was like, come on, man. I mean, what's up? Just tell me what's up.
Right.
Yeah, you know what's up. So finally I just said, this is a small place and people are here. We should talk about it. Right. Me and you outside, because it looked like you could need to get something up in your chest, right? And then Jada was like, "Oh, no, y'all. And I was like, "What do you mean, nah, y'all? Tell him. And that was the end of that.
Right.
You see?
Right.
And I never knew. It wasn't until my book came out.
Right.
Years later.
Right.
Where I counted that as one of the things that really bothered me and hurt me.
Right.
Bad. Because I didn't know, and I look up to him and I love him to death.
So you really didn't know why he was upset. You had no earthly idea.
No earthly idea.
Because of an on-screen kiss or attempted kiss or what was going on.
No.
So that's a bit I wanted to play. So you had Tommy Davidson and then you had Chris Rock. So there's a lot of different moving parts going on here. Now, Jada, outside looking in, is starting to become more clear now, the dynamic of this relationship. Will Smith had this infamous interview where he talked about Tupac. And I'm gonna play this real quickly because it's gonna kind of give y'all a little bit of a balance on the dynamic. So with Jada clearly was hung up over Pac, just like Mr. Soley stated. That was her quote unquote soulmate who just didn't have chemistry with her, but that was her soulmate. That's who she just had a love for. And she had a deep connection with him, so deep that her daughter, who had no connection to Pac, wasn't even alive during Pac presence on Earth, wrote a letter to Pac saying, "Hey, I know you're alive. Come back. Mommy misses you." What the hell, right? So you got all that going on in the Smith's house, and here's Will Smith personality. What's going on?
Oh, fuck yeah. in the early days.
Were you ever jealous of the love Jada had for Tupac?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh my God, dude. And and that was in the early days.
Yeah.
That was in the early days, and it was like, that was a big regret for me too, because I could never open up to interact with Pac, and because we had a little bit of a thing, right? Because they grew up together, and they loved each other, but they never had that, they never had a sexual relationship. But they had come into that age where now that was a possibility, and then Jada was with me, so Pac had a little thing on that, but she just loved him like he was the image of perfection, but she was with the Fresh Prince, so it was like, I never could, like, even we were in a room together a couple times, I couldn't speak to him, and he wasn't going to speak to me if I wasn't going to speak to him. But
it's like y'all have so much in common.
No, that's what Jada would say all the time. She was like, I'm telling you, y'all are so similar. You will love him. And I just never, that was a huge regret of mine. I couldn't handle it. I was the soft rapper from Philly, and he was Pac.
Right.
Well, he didn't do a diss song about you or nothing.
I know, right? Exactly. But yeah, no, I was deeply, deeply insecure, and just I wasn't man enough to handle that relationship.
So I gotta go.
So, just to give you that. So now the picture is being painted now. Will Smith, he absolutely loved Jada. Jada was everything to him. And he clearly had insecurities, which we all do as people have our insecurities in different areas. It's not just Will, but it's more of a humanizing way for Will to say, hey, I was intimidated. Because when we look at Will Smith, especially us in our age bracket, solely growing up, Will Smith was one of the biggest acts on planet Earth. Right. I mean, the biggest movie star, one of the best sitcoms of all time. Wasn't nobody's favorite rapper. However, we all respected him. But Will Smith couldn't do no wrong. And to see somebody in this headspace say, hey, I was intimidated by this person, or I was insecure in this situation, now brings the insecurity to a forefront when he's confronting people like Tommy Davis and he's confronting people like Chris Rock. And then, so if you can imagine the magnitude of discomfort he had with the on-screen kiss with Jada and Tommy Davidson, or a bad joke with Chris Rock and Jada Pickett, imagine solely his fury with August Alsina having an affair with his wife, who at the time they were separated, but at the same token, it was having an affair. So the emotions on the Red Table Talk when they did that episode was raw. It was raw. Me and my wife joke about it a lot. She's like, Will's a great actor. I said, no, that was raw emotions. You can tell when somebody's hurt. He was hurt. And I say that to say this. That was the perfect opportunity for Jada to say, no, what, Will, I'm not going to let you down this hill as the husband who got cheated on. That's going to ruin your credibility. So I'm going to just be honest with the public. Hey, we were separated when this happened. That would have saved his face. Right. You had comedians come out of the woodworks and everybody joking on Will and making a mockery of him. And even the famous line with J. Cole, I want that dark-skinned and Aunt Viv love that Jada and that Will love. He had to skip the whole part now where he do performances, right? The whole Jada and the Will. And people even point back at that, say, hey, that line is aging pretty poorly now. But the point is here, we really got to stop idolizing these celebrity marriages and these celebrity couples, because they go through stuff just like we go through stuff. And in most cases, the stuff they go through is more magnified than what we go through. Like, nobody knows what Solly and Ty go through unless they tell them. Nobody knows what Chris and Crystal go through unless one of us tell them. But those two, I mean, it's public eye. And it doesn't help if Ty is spilling all the beans with her and Solly, or if Crystal's spilling on the beans with, with us. It obviously don't help the narrative either.
Right.
So we really got to stop idolizing these marriages. You look at the people say, "Oh, I want to be like Jay-Z and Beyonce." Look at Jay-Z and Beyonce. Jay-Z clearly had a whole affair on her so much where she made a whole diss song about it. Right? Then you had Black Love, the Black Love founders, the Papoose and Remy Ma. And recent story, Remy Ma stepped out on Papoose, had a whole affair with one of her artists. So the moral to the story is, people, we gotta stop idolizing these celebrities and their marriages, because although they're in front of our faces, they look good in glamour and red carpets and all this and smooching. But remember, they are acts, they are talents, so they are skilled at putting on the front. So let that marinate. But obviously she's doing this for her book. Her book is coming out, so you know how it goes. Think about it, anytime a celebrity come out with a tell-all book, somebody has to be sacrificed. And I don't mean like Illuminati, but I mean like more of a social point. Somebody has to be sacrificed. Somebody has to be thrown under the book. For example, when DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club wife wrote her book, he had to be sacrificed image-wise. She had made a book and said he couldn't make me orgasm. He could make me come. So why is it when these artists or these entertainers or these people come out with books, they have to just embarrass someone? Now I know it's an honest, you honest, right? You got to tell your truth, but is that really worth telling, right? Is it really worth the public knowing? Like, you're doing more damage to your marriage than you are, and only for $1. You're doing it for $1.
Right.
I mean, Will and Jada's 2 steps away from a reality show. And you sacrificing your marriage or your sanctity of your marriage for image. You're already the biggest couple on planet Earth. People idolize you like Oprah and Tyler Perry level. Like, they idolize you. And you tore that down for a Facebook TV show?
Yeah.
And a book deal? Like, there's so much other things you could have spoken about. But, and I haven't read the book, so we don't know any context, but I just feel like, could you really reconcile that? Solely, if you was Will Smith on the receiving end of this, could this be something you can reconcile? Could this be something you can fix?
No, not at all. Like, it's gone too far. They have gone. You know how you can go too far where you cannot go back. You ever had one of those instances, man, where you've done something so far out, ain't no coming back. If you have said something that's so far down the road that it ain't coming back, no matter how hard you try to call it back or to go and get it, it ain't coming back. It ain't coming back for nothing. And I think this is one of those instances, man. Like, if this right here is not the straw, then I don't know. I don't know, but it seems like they have been on the edge for so long that it had to be something that's like, yo, this right here has to be it, and it has to be over. This has to be the clean. Well, not clean. This has to be the instance where it is no coming back from, and you go your way, I go my way, and all right, if you're gonna do this book, do it. But I don't want to hear nothing else, because he might be tired of hearing about this himself.
Oh, he gotta be.
Him opening up about her and Pac. I'm quite sure he's been going through that for a while. And yeah, shoot. I mean, hell, he was Tupac. Tupac was. I mean, he's one of those. That's me and your favorite rapper. One of our favorite rappers. So it's like, yo, and like he said, he was the Fresh Prince. But I mean,
you don't hold a candle.
Right. Yeah, man. And especially if you have love for somebody like Jada and Pac, they grew up together, and if you have a love for somebody like that strong, I understand how it can be like, yo, this man right here, yeah, I'm jealous about the way Pac. I'm jealous of the relationship Pac and my wife, had, because I knew I couldn't hold a candle to it. But on her part, she shouldn't have made him feel less than anymore because he wasn't Pac. You know, it's
Right.
one of those things like, yo, okay, you ain't never have Pac, and all right, you got that love for him, but you with me now. You know, don't
Otherwise, go with Pac. Go with Pac if that's the case. Why? Don't waste my time. Don't
right,
drag
yeah.
somebody.
Why you keep on bringing somebody else in this relationship, even though the man is dead, or might be, or whatever you want to think.
Right.
He's not in this house. So you just making it bad on the relationship. You're making it bad on me, on my thought process. You're making it bad on my um I feel a little less than because you got this strong love for Pac, and you act like I can't even hold a candle to this man, and I'm still here on this earth. So I think it's bad. I think it's really bad, man. I don't think it's no going back. Um, I hope, and this is me, I hope they don't go back. I hope this is the end of it. Yeah, you want a relationship like Will and Jada, or or the Baracks or something like that. But at the end of the day, we got to have our own relationship. I'm talking about as people now, like individuals. We always worried about somebody else's relationship. Like, why are we worried about somebody else's relationship for when we ought to be trying to have our own relationship? And why are we so stuck on being like somebody else? I
Right.
know you want to have the best relationship.
Right.
You want to have the best relationship. You want to be one with somebody else.
Right.
But why are we continuously trying to match somebody else's relationship, somebody else's marriage? Like, they are people. Like you said, they are people too. And people mess up. So you just try to be the best that you can be, and I think everything will be fine.
100. You can't copy somebody else's playbook. The New York
Exactly.
Giants don't copy the New York Jets playbook. It ain't gonna work. They got different pieces. Different pieces is utilized for different objectives. So
That's right.
whatever.
Especially them those Patriots.
Ha ha ha. Right. Yeah. We need to borrow somebody's playbook. Uh, we need the Angels in the outfield. We need the Monstars. But man, yeah. So yeah, you can't copy nobody else's playbook and expect your marriage to work, because whatever works for Ty and Sol Lee would not work for Chris and Crystal, or vice versa, because everybody's playbook is different, everybody's dynamic, everybody's chemistry is different. So stop idolizing these celebrities' marriages and celebrity couples, because we don't know what they go through behind closed doors. Now, granted, everything happened for a reason. So with Jada going about it this way, it shed light on what really goes on, or Amber Heard and the Johnny Depp situation shed light on what really goes on behind the scene. Just like every other the couples I named earlier, things go on. You just don't know about it. So stop idolizing people. Don't put your faith in man. Don't put your faith in the people who have a relationship with you and your spouse, and find what works for y'all and find that chemistry. You on that Kickback Podcast? It's our time. You with that Kickback Podcast?